right, live streamed.
Yep, just got the notice.
Recording. I've talked to some other people doing a podcast, and they, because of the new updates and different things, they hadn't hit record and all the new stuff, and they lost some episodes. It's like, yeah, I've lost some episodes too. It's not fun.
That is brutal.
It is brutal.
Oh,
all right,
man.
We ready?
Let's go.
Yep.
Let's do it. 3, 2, 1. Hi, welcome to the Pints Polishing Podcast. My name is Marshall Hill. I'm your guide as we journey through the car care industry. You can find me on most platforms at Total Auto Solutions. If you're on TikTok, find me at Detail Supply App. Best way to get in touch, though, is shoot me a text direct, 918-800-1188. There we go. And joined today by Greg and Shawn. Greg can be found on most platforms at Masterson's Wax. But if you're on TikTok, best way to get him there, Masterson's Car Care, or you can give him a shout direct too. His number is 562-335-2053. Shawn, like you said before, for any detailers that are out in his area, I'll say that number again, 562-335-2053. Greg is still taking applications.
Yeah, still
he's
waiting.
got a lot of cash. So
Patiently
Shawn,
waiting for a detailer.
yeah. Shawn can be found on most platforms at Orbis X Inc., right? You got to put the INC at the end. Best way to get in touch direct, though, is shoot Shawn an email, Shawn at orbisinc.com, right?
Or orbisx.com.
Orbisx, my bad.
Hey,
Orbisx.com.
Yeah.
I'll get that one right eventually. You asked earlier how I was doing. Appreciate that. I'm probably at about 90+%. I'm getting there. I still get tired towards the end of the afternoon, but I was able to this past weekend go out and enjoy some beers for the first time in a while. So that was good. So today I'm going to be drinking. I didn't get to drink one of my favorite beers is Franzenskanner. It's a Hefeweizen from Germany. That's just always been one of my favorite beers to drink. So there's this cool little bar that I like to go to. I took my girlfriend out. We are going to have this great day. They were out. They couldn't tap the K. I was like, damn it.
No.
So I'm going to have a Weiss beer today. This is from Watercolors. And it's a mix of a bunch of different fruity stuff. So it should be interesting. Blackberries, blueberries, cheesecakes. You're into rum. What's your favorite rum?
So it varies because I like a few, but one of my favorites is El Dorado, but the 8-year, not the 5. The 5 it's not as smooth. But today it's Appleton Estates. I got the premium blend one. So
that's a Caribbean, right? Appleton Estates.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, most of the ones I like the El Dorado one. I think, geez, if I'm not mistaken, that one actually might be from Puerto Rico. Come to think about it, but it's difficult sometimes to get bottled different places. But there's a few good ones out of Barbados that I like. And then there's some local ones like when we used to live in the Caribbean that we used to drink there. But some of them were not for the lighthearted. Let me put it that way. We had this stuff under the counter that had centipedes in it and stuff like that. Those were for those rough days.
Greg, besides mojitos, I think you like mojitos. Any other time you drink rum?
Daiquiris are great. I love rum-based cocktails. Amazing. I like Cruise on rum actually right now. Cruise on rum, really good. Okay, delicious. Okay.
Yeah, I'll have to try it. I think I've seen it. Right, tall, clear bottle or something, right? Is that
different?
Is that right?
Yeah, different colors. I feel like all the bottles are tall.
Yeah.
True. Except that Appleton Estates, that one's that smaller and it's kind of
it's
the Pirate. Do you guys ever drink Pirate rum? That comes in that PYRAT or something. It comes in a real small one.
Okay, that one.
But you're right, Greg. I think most people like to draw it out to make it seem really big. And
there's one that's really good too. It's called Kraken. It's named after the octopus, but the mythological octopus. But that one it's a little bit higher percentage, but it's nice. Me, I drink it always just with ice. But if you're looking to mix something, that's a decent one.
Yeah. All right, let's dive into what we want to talk about today because. Sure. Greg, I know we're on a time crunch. Hopefully your internet gets back up. But if we're streaming from your phone, appreciate you doing that, and we'll get right to it so we can hop off as soon as we can for you. We talked last week about some interesting topics, and I wanted to jump back into a couple of those and dive a little bit further in over the next couple episodes, so we can all dive into with a bit more discussion. And, one of the things we talked about is how, right, the industry is continuing to evolve. It's continuing to grow. But there is, Greg, you and I have talked about it in the past, there's a massive influx of new detailers. And that's over the past 6 months to even, in the groups this past weekend and week. I mean, I'm just seeing nonstop questions about, hey, I'm a new detailer. How do I this? Hey, I'm a new detailer. How do I that? Like, there's a lot of new detailers going into the industry. And so from that perspective, I wanted to ask a couple questions beforehand and get your guys' different views, because, they want to know about associations. Would you recommend an early young detailer go into an association, Greg?
I would recommend an early young detailer literally go out there and watch every single video on YouTube. Either that, or maybe pay for some great training. And there's a lot of great training out there. You can either go I'm going to watch all the videos on YouTube, or I'm going to go with some training. To be honest, I think you should use both. They're both great aspects. But one of the things I think that's great for detailers is it's not really the detailing side. It's the actual running of the business side. And a lot of the detailers that are getting into this and they say, hey, I want to run a business, they really got to focus on those basic business skills, like setting up their business. I actually had a detailer walked into my showroom the other day and was saying, I'm getting into detailing. I got some jobs to go on. And I asked him, cool, man, you got a business card? No business card. You got a website? No website. Why are you even detailing?
No business.
No business. Yeah, no business. So I feel like it's these basic skills and these basic setups of business that a lot of detailers need to focus on, instead of which coating should I use? Because in my retrospect, the coating or the product is very little. It's the sales, how you sell the product out there.
Yeah, great point. So was that a yes or no on the association?
I'm gonna go with no. I feel like, to be honest, the only association out there right now is the International Detailers Association, and to be honest, it's garbage. I have not seen any growth from the association. I haven't even seen any great posts from the association, any great videos in a long time. And if you really want to hang out with guys that are, older in the industry, go over there. But if you want to hang out with younger guys that are moving fast, making great stuff, they're all on TikTok. They're all on Facebook. They're all on Instagram.
All right. Shawn, what about you? Do you think young guys should go in and join associations?
Well, I think that the biggest thing they should do is exactly like Greg says, go out and work. That's the number one thing. Set up the business processes, go out and work. And I think it would be a hard no on my end for the association side. The main reason is that this is an industry with a very low fatality rate. And what I mean by that is they're not installing electrical wires in someone's house, things like that. There's not really any damage they could do aside to someone's vehicle, but that's where insurance comes in. I think really just get out there and start to work. You don't have to be accredited for any kind of association or something like that instantly, because I don't think the customers, especially in the beginning, are going to be looking for that. I don't think that someone's going to base their decision off of well, are you with this association or that association? So I just don't see the value add for a startup business. That could be something that maybe comes down the road if they wanted to entertain that, but for my opinion, I would say no.
All right. What about trainings going? And I know, Greg, you mentioned a second ago getting some trainings. What about a group? A lot of times you go to these trainings and you get forced into paying for their group. Do you think that's a valuable thing for a young detailer to do?
Give me an example on the paying for the group.
Well, the first one that comes to mind would be like the mafia.
Okay. Yeah.
Or,
you know what?
I know
there's bad decision. And I'll explain. This is a really good way. I actually went in and I visit a lot of detail supply stores. Okay. And I sell Masterson's Car Care detailing products. That's my sale. I'm going there to supply these detailing shops with product. I walked into a detailing shop and I asked, hey, I gave my spiel, give my pitch. You want to become a Masterson's Car Care distributor? And the store owner told me this. Well, I got to check with my group. And I said, what do you mean you got to check with the group? Well, I got to see if I can sell this in my store because I'm a member of the detail mafia and I got to run everything through them. And I was like, is this your business or is this the detail mafia's business? Who's the business owner here? I was actually talking to the business owner. Are you letting other people make decisions for your business, or are you making decisions for your business? And that's a really big question that I find on that. And that's also an issue with when you're getting involved with these groups. Who's running your business? Is the group running your business, or are you running your business? Because I guarantee you, the group is going to keep their businesses in mind, and they're not going to keep your business in mind. So I recommend focus on your own business, focus on growing your own customers.
Yeah, and there's other groups than just the mafia. That's just the biggest, I think, that popped in my mind, right? Shawn, you run a group that comes with, right? I think if they join and use your service, and you have a group, right? So how do you take other groups where people have to go in and get a training and then they get to join a group? How do you take it?
Sure. So I'm never a fan of like forced training kind of things and restrictions on what your business can and can't do. I understand, if you're part of a franchise, for example, you're going to have a franchise agreement, you pay royalties back to head office, things like that. But that also means that head office is there a lot to support you with advertising dollars and things like that. So if you're not getting that mutual benefit, really it's a one-way relationship, and it's just, there's too much give and not enough take. So I'm not a huge fan of those kinds of group scenarios. I think that people like to belong somewhere, so that's why they're drawn to these groups. But when it comes to your business, if it's something that is going to impact your bottom line, your revenue, your potential growth, as a business owner, you have to be able to be open to different products, trying new products, different partnerships, things like that. And a lot of these groups can be restricting in those aspects. So I think that if it's something where you're locked in and the more restrictions you have, the more wary you should be of joining those kind of groups. Absolutely.
Yeah, and we're not talking Facebook groups, right? Which you
No, of
mentioned a
course.
second ago, Greg. Like most of your young detailers should be on TikTok, or I guess getting information, because this is the interesting part, I think, as being an older, quote unquote, older detailer, and even talking with, detailers in their 30s, Facebook groups have a different perspective than if you're in your young 20s. The amount of questions that they ask is really is mind-boggling, which is interesting. Why should somebody be a member? I know you have a Facebook group. Why should young detailers be involved with that?
Young detailers should be involved in a community or a
Community.
Facebook group. Yes, the community, right? It's because you're getting great information from other detailers. And part about these groups on Facebook is knowing and understanding how to weed out the good information from the bad information. And there's going to be bad information out there. There's going to be people that are going to tell you spray bug off on your headlights to clean it instead of using a real professional technique to restore headlights. There's all this different information out there, but you have to join the right group and gain the right amount of information. That's why there's great groups out there like the Detailers of Facebook group. There's a lot of professionals in there, as opposed to a group on Facebook. Like there's a group called Detailing 101 by AutoGeek. It's a very big group, but half of the people in there don't know what they're talking about. So you might ask a question and you might actually get some wrong answers, which may hurt your business. So you really got to, take the understanding of who you're learning from, where you're getting the information from.
Shawn, your thoughts on Facebook groups?
So I'm of the same school of thought, and I'm a huge information consumer. I read several books a week. I love information and training in all its forms. I see a lot of the questions that get out there. I see the same, repetitive questions, and I do see the same repetitive bad answers, I would say. So I think, yeah, definitely becoming, information savvy as to, what good information is, bad information. Don't be afraid to ask questions, but just make sure that be prepared that you're going to get some people leading you in the wrong direction, not intentionally, but just, I think that the groups can add value, depending. The larger they get, the more kind of diluted the value becomes at times. But I do think that there is some value there. And if you can, find some people that you've liked their answers before, it worked for you, try and, like their comments, things like that. And those group algorithms will, it'll show up more for you. So you'll get more of the good information.
Okay.
But on that note, the one thing I would say too is be careful too with some of the groups, because there is a lot of censorship going on as well. And so that can actually lead you down a path where it sounds like this is good and relevant information because it's the only information you're being presented with. So, and I know all of us have been victims of that. So,
Greg's never been kicked out of detailing for money ever.
never.
I know, right? Never,
Yeah.
never
This week.
But this is
Never this week. Not this Tuesday.
That is a great piece of information about the censoring, because it's how I feel like it is on Facebook right now. It's that a company may start a group, and then in that group, it's pushed on the specific products that they're supposed to use. And then they're deleting all the other information that comes out. It's very common and it's very easily seen. But for somebody that comes into the group, they don't see the other information. They're only seeing the information that's being bumped to the top. So it is picky choosy where you do see the information. That's why I tell everybody, you really got to make up your own decision and try different products and make up what works for you.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yesterday, for example, I got some of my comments blocked. I was helping a guy out with, he was doing PPF and tinting. He was looking for a plotter. And in this one group, someone was trying to recommend a specific brand of plotter. And I was guiding the guy down. And I said, listen, I have both of those brands. And I said, it depends what you're doing. The guy actually does tinting as well. So he needed the other plotter like what we have, because it'll do both with memory settings. Whereas the one plotter didn't. And I had to actually go message him privately later to finish the convo because I couldn't reply to his comments anymore. And it happens. And it's like, geez, I was just trying to help someone out genuinely with their business. And then, that individual is pushing a particular brand. So what can you do? Yeah. And I don't sell plotters. There's nothing in it for me.
Yeah. One thing, Marty, I'll touch base on is, what a lot of younger detailers need to work on? They need to work on picking up the phone. The younger detailers right now, they're struggling with picking up the phone, and they're struggling with their people skills, interacting with people. I usually tell, actually, I got a comment. Somebody was asking some detailing questions. They were in depth. They were too in depth to be able to answer over a little comment box. And I said, pick up the phone, give us a call. I posted our 1-800 number. It's a free number. They could call, Beautiful. Ask for me direct. And the person commented, hey, is there any way like we can answer this over email or text? Because I don't like talking over the phone. Well, guess what? If you don't like talking over the phone, you need to close your business. Yeah. And you need to not be in business, because the reason you can't talk on the phone is because the people skills are not evolved, or they're not developed enough. And so people that are working in detailing, they need to work on these people skills. If your people skills suck, go join an organization like Toastmasters. Google it. It's a free organization. Go there, learn how to evolve your speaking skills, your closing skills. That's something I really think is a great value, Marty, in this industry. Those type of organizations.
Yeah, great point. Great point.
I'd agree with that.
Let's get into one thing we talked about last week, which was interesting. Both of you are proponents of waxing. Shawn, you said that you wax out of your shop. Greg, there's no doubt that over the years you're known, and especially last week, we talked heavily about it. You're a big proponent of waxing. Now, it's interesting, right? My pushback, or my theory, I have yet to carry a wax. I've yet to put on a wax in probably, 7 or 8 years. Like, as my progression through, when we got into the car wash world and we had a detail shop with a wash, I was pushing everybody into sealants. I just felt that you got a better protection for it, and we would do a polish with the seal. As coatings came out, I've pushed for that 1, 2, 3. So I'm just wanting to say that openly, in case you didn't know, like, I haven't ever really dealt with waxes in a long time. So I'm really curious of why you would recommend, and we'll stay in that ballpark of that young detailer getting in, why they should put on a wax or move a wax or sell a wax to a customer, if maybe like a silica spray or a 1-year coating or a sealant is available. Why you would recommend that, Greg?
From a business standpoint, and since we're talking on a business standpoint on this one, young detailer getting into business, what they need to understand, and this is a big thing, is that they need to offer their customers some choices: good, better, best. And you can't get to the best without having better or good. There's no way, because then what is your one choice? That's a tough choice, right? The one choice. For a detailer that's starting out in selling, it's more efficient for them to have more choices because they can build up from there. A lot of these detailers struggle because they think that there's only one option and it's a coating and it's $2,500. And if the customer doesn't want to spend the $2,500, then it's either $0 for the business or $2,500 for the business. It's like one or the other. There's no in-betweens. And you got to give the customer some in-betweens, some other types of choices that may help them go for that. And I feel like wax is a great starting point because customers understand it. They're familiar with it. Hey, we offer wax as our service. You want an upsell, an upgrade? We got you an upgrade. And then we have you another upgrade. And the reason I tell detailers to start with the wax is it gives you those practice for the upselling. And upselling is one of the most important ways to grow your business, to upsell your customers. And that's a great way to practice. Where do you upsell, Marty, when you're already at the ceramic? Do you upsell to something? I don't know. I've never heard of it.
New car.
New car.
Yeah. Greg, nicely done, man. I like that. To answer your question, I mean, that's why we would do, slick as that 6 month, and we go Uno at a 1 year, 2 year, 3 year. And listen, we say this all the time in community is everybody has different ways of running their business, which is what we love about open dialogue and having difference of opinion. So I really appreciate that. That's a great suggestion, good, better, best. Listen, you find that through any menu system, right? Of a successful business. You look at car washing, which I mentioned earlier, owning a car wash. That's what we did, right? Here's your minimal, here's your mid, and here's your best. One interesting formula, one of my partners was David Davis, who basically his role was VP of operations that ran Cricket Communications nationally before they sold out to AT&T. And his deal, what we always push, and this is just to play off of what you're saying, is we would always push with the high first. He always said, you sell up by selling down. That you start as high as you can when you're selling the process, and then you move the customer down and they'll get to where they want. And he was just saying statistically from what he saw, if you start selling at the bottom, they'll only go up so far. But if you start at the top, you'll get them to a higher ticket price. That was his theory. That was just the way he operated. So good, better, best is definitely great options. Great points on that. So thanks so much for sharing that. Shawn, your thoughts?
Yeah, 100%. So us, we do something similar too, because we focus a lot on upsells. I think that's definitely where the business is. We take the convenience store approach. The milk is basically a loss leader. The bread gets you in the door, and then you're spending, like we're making, 80% margins on chocolate bars, things like that. We take that kind of approach as well. So for us, what we usually do is we'll give something away like that, and it's easy to gift something like that. And we always ask them something. We call them up and we say, hey, how was your visit? And did you notice we did this for you? How did you like it? And so we always lead with that question. And then we try and book them in for that same thing next time, or we use that as our upsell pivot. It's kind of, we call it the trampoline method, but basically we're trying to get someone to jump from one trampoline to the next. And each time they're going progressively higher. So I do like what you're saying, though. We're going from the top down. And I think I'm going to get my guys to try that out. We usually do split testing. So I'll get one bay to go and, okay, this is what you guys are doing. Start at the top tier, work your way down, and then see how the results are compared to the other guys. But yeah, wax, that's one of the reasons we like it is, there's not really any errors that you can make. We have products that we use for that we've used for a long time. And it's really just the familiarity that people have with it. In our zone, especially, ceramic, we spend a ton of time explaining to people what it is, how it works, coming back, reloads, maintenance, the different products. They just have so many questions. And we haven't really found a way to make the warranty mean something to them. Because that's a big thing in the industry is, it's that, it comes with warranties. A lot of the people we've pitched it to, they say, well, I don't care if it's 10 years. I'm getting rid of my car in 2 years. So I don't care. And we say, it has resale value. And they're like, well, not really. Like when they've bought a car, they were looking at the things that made their decision, and a warranty for ceramic wasn't one of the factors. So
listen, you made Greg and I real happy there, because that's some stuff that him and I have really agreed and chopped it up on is what is the validity of all that. So Greg, I mean, what did you think? Like, I know you pointed and you're like, hell yeah.
Yeah. It's all about giving the customer what gives them value. And sometimes these things that are being pushed on the customer isn't the value. And a lot of times new detailers, they think they have to do all of these services to make the customer happy. In reality, they just need to do the basics to make the customer happy. The basics will make them happy. I'll give you a great example about going too far. Sometimes people just go too far when detailing. There was a post this morning on the Detailing for Money group on Facebook, and they were detailing a brand new, it was like 2020 or 2021 Rolls Royce. And it was a black Rolls Royce. It was all black and it had a black chrome grille. Well, the guy's shop had a new detailer, or one of his new guys, working on it and said, go ahead and polish the chrome. To polish the chrome, he should have just taken a towel and some basic wax, just basic wax, and shine the chrome. Instead, he took a heavy abrasive and a microfiber polishing pad on a machine and went to town on this chrome. He ended up turning the black chrome into silver chrome. And the mistake was an $11,000 mistake, just because to replace the grill was going to cost $11,000. All the guy had to do was just use some wax. But because he's watching all these videos online telling him, you got to do these 8-step polishes on the chrome, you got to buy these other pads, you got to bust out the machine. And in reality, all you need to do is take just a little bit of wax, rub it on, buff it off. It would have shined and came out great. Sometimes you just got to keep it simple instead of going too complex on these jobs, I believe.
Good call. Good call. All right, let's close out. Let's close out with this question, and keeping in that mindset of a young detailer that's just opening up and getting rolling. You know, no doubt, Greg, you had mentioned that one of the most popular questions is how much do I charge? The other big question that we see all the time, how do I get customers? You know, what is, and we want to just ask Shawn your opinion and then Greg's opinion, because I think these will be a little bit different, because I think Greg and we've talked heavily on face-to-face, how to go out and whole car sell. I'm probably perspective that you're going to go with something technology-wise, but would like to pick both of your brains on how you think that the first thing to do if I'm a young detailer just wanting to open up. Maybe here's the other big one that's massive is I'm working part-time or I'm full-time job and then I'm detailing on the side. We have plenty in the community that's what they do. They might have a full-time job and then they just detail cars on the weekend. Any of that perspective of that type of crew, Shawn, I'll start with you first. How do you think somebody should go out and get customers?
Sure thing. So getting customers can be difficult, but it's also a lot easier than you think too, because all you have to do is go outside. That's the first thing I would recommend to somebody, is that you are your biggest asset and you want to detail cars. Well, the cars are outside. Cars are in people's driveways, cars are in parking lots, cars are, all over the place. So a lot of people, they want the easy way. They say, oh, I want to sit at home. I want to just, for some reason my inbox is going to get full with emails and I just reply to people. It's not going to work like that unless you're going to spend a lot of money on Google ads, Facebook ads, YouTube. And then you also have to know what you're doing with those ads. So technology wise, that can come later, I would say. In the beginning, what you want to do is go find people. My biggest recommendation anytime a new guy starting out asks me is I say, avoid your family and friends. Do not detail their cars at all. Number one, they're not going to want to pay you. They're not going to give you honest feedback. You're going to learn almost nothing from that experience, and you're just scared. You got to take the leap. What I always recommend is start with businesses around you. Look for places where vehicles are going to be sitting for a period of time. So that's what we did. There's a barbershop near us. Perfect. Guys are coming in. They're getting their hair and their beard done. While they're sitting there, we told them, we said, listen, you can upsell this. We'll make the pamphlets. We'll print them, drop them off. You just give them to the guys when they come in. Hey, by the way, you're going to be here for an hour. We could have a guy come and, clean your car. We pick up their vehicle, bring it down to our shop, clean it. It gets returned clean. The guy walks away happy. Everybody wins. Go to community boards, grocery stores. There's cork boards. Put up those things where you pull out the phone number. So we did all those things. I went around to every library in our city when we first started, and I put up on cork boards those things where you pull the numbers off. We got a ton of business from that. Started getting traction. When you deal with a customer, ask them on the spot when they're done, can I get the names of 3 people that you think would like this service as well, and push them on it, press them for it. Say, you had a good experience, a great experience. This would really help me out, and I can give you something back in return. I'm just going to call them. And now you're calling a guy and you say, hey, Joe, I got your number from Brian. He told me to give you a call. We just detailed his Yukon. You know, it's a very different sales process. So there's lots of ways. You just got to think outside the box. I wrote about all this for free. It's in an ebook. If anyone's interested, message Marty. I'll send it to you for free. But there's a lot of ways.
I'll message you, man. I'm not going to be the middleman here. That's
Fair
why
enough,
we
fair
put
enough.
your email out of the first. Like, hey, they can message you direct. All good.
Good point. Fair enough. So send me a message, Shawn at orbisx.ca.
Say your email again since I butchered it.
Perfect. Yeah. Shawn at orbisx.ca. It's Shawn, SHAWN, spelled the right way. But no offense to the other Shawns, but so there's lots of ways like that to get customers. It's a little easier than you think. And then just basically think outside the box with some guerrilla marketing that's not going to cost you a lot. Or if you do have a budget, because some of these startups, they actually do have some advertising money. Start small. Start with, like Facebook boosted posts. Don't get into Google maybe right away, or maybe get into Google and not Facebook. But there's ways of doing it. But that's what I'd recommend, is just get out there, make some phone calls, go see local businesses, put yourself out there.
Greg, I'm actually kind of shocked, really. I was not expecting that at all. You're right. Guerrilla marketing at its finest. Great points. I would say that's where Greg and I really agree on. I thought this would be me and Greg discussing, how, your use of technology. That's really where I thought you were going to go. So interesting.
I love technology, but it's boots on the ground. That's, I own 7 companies, and that's how we've built them. Technology was there to help support the whole systems that we built, but it was never there to be the driving force.
Cool. Greg, your thoughts, if, your first thing that you're going to do. I know you and I have talked about this multiple times. Feel free to beat a dead horse and, hit us with your suggestion of, getting out there and launching a business and getting customers, whether I'm, full-time job during the week and just doing the weekend, or, somebody that's trying to hop in full-time.
We'll go both, the pricing and the marketing. And the technology, I'll run out with the technology first. So the technology, I know, Shawn, you thought Shawn was going to talk about technology. Technology is great, but what the people got to understand is that all these tools, the technology, they're just tools for us. You know what the phone is? Great technology. Email, great technology. Okay. Facebook, Instagram, great technology. But there's still got to be somebody there. We talked about this last time. There's still got to be somebody there to run things. And it's like, I'll give you a good example of the phone. The phone is probably the greatest sales technology that we've ever had. It's much even better, I believe, than the internet. You could just pick up the phone, and if you know what you're doing, you could get a hold of the owner of a company just by calling and saying the right things. You could get on the phone with the owner of a company, a decision maker. You can't do that via email. Somebody's going to look at it and trash, right? But the phone's so powerful, but somebody still has to be there operating the phone. Good example of where the phone's gone bad: robo messages. Robo messages are out there calling everybody. And you know what we do? We hang up the phone. Bye, robo. Hang up the phone, right? But it was great technology. Great technology. They got the phone and the phone numbers and the dialing down. They just need somebody to say real life action, a real life closer, okay? Technology doesn't go too far on that. But detailers got to utilize these technology. So utilizing it, great. But you gotta do guerrilla marketing. You gotta still get out there and call people. You still gotta go out there and email people. You still gotta go out there and make videos and make content, and even just get out there face to face. And the money wise, how much money should we charge? This is like the number one question right now out there. How much money should I charge, right? The reason people are asking how much money they should charge is because they've never run any business at all. And they don't know their year goal, how much money they want to make in a year. And if they don't really realize how much money they want to make in a year, they got to shrink it down. How much money do I want to make in a day? Oh, I want to make $150 in a day. Cool. Break it down like that. That's your pricing. It's super easy to run that like that. Okay. I want to make $120 a day. Then I'm going to do 6 car washes for $20. Boom. I did it. Let's do that again the next day. It's that key that they have to know. They have to know how much money they want to make total to get the jobs going done, because eventually you'll figure out how to do your job better. And that $120 a day you'll make in one job if you just know how to set your goal properly.
Cool.
I agree,
like
100%.
it. I like it. Thank you guys both for the answers. Great information for the community. We definitely, this is what we love. Open dialogue, open opinions. If somebody has a disagreement with the opinions, cool. Let's hop in and let's have a discussion. You know, anybody's welcome to come in and have an open dialogue. I think Greg, you and I would always, welcome that. We've had some great times where people have come in and had open dialogue discussions. So thank you guys for both of your opinions and for what you guys are doing for the community. Thanks so much.
Absolutely.
Very much. You have a great day.
All right.
See you guys next time.
Whoa. I just spilt my beer all over me.
Oh, no way. Jeez.
All right, man. Good to see you. What were you drinking?
You too. So I got the Appleton Estates, the premium blend.
Okay, cool.
A little bit of rum. It's nice, afternoon. Why not?
Yeah, definitely. Why not?
Yeah, exactly.
Why not? You're up in Canada, and I was thinking the other day. I was like, oh shit. I mean, we can't ship up to Canada.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. But I do have a storage facility in Miami, so I could always ship it to myself from there.
Okay. Yeah, our problem has just been getting stuff across the border. Detailers just started getting stuff, and then the border would grab it, and then they wouldn't pay their tax, and then and it just became such an issue that we just pulled off Canada. And I was thinking about that the other day. I was like, oh yeah, that's gonna be hard to do.
Jeez, yeah. But well, maybe what I'll do is this: I'll put through an order, get it shipped up, see if there's any hassles or anything like that. If not,
we closed Canada off. I mean, you can't even place an order.
Yeah, no. But that's what I mean. But then I could get
to Florida.
More shipped up. Yeah, ship it to Miami, ship it up here, and then basically could just distribute across the board.
Yeah,
I could be your distributor up here.
Well, yeah, that would be the next option. We definitely would welcome the idea of discussing that. I mean, we have distribution. We've got 2 different platforms for it. One starts at 500, the other's at 2,500. So
okay, perfect.
Yeah, I mean, you get 30% or 50% off, and yeah, I mean, if we had a distributor, we would work with the border much easier.
Of course. Yeah.
Exactly. But doing it for $100 to $150, you just like,
it's not going to happen. Yeah, no.
Yeah. But distribution, man, that would be awesome. That'd be cool.
That could work well. The reason I got the storage facility is because I was shipping when we were in the Caribbean. I had to ship stuff. A lot of the times I couldn't get it from Canada to the Caribbean. So what I do is ship it from Canada to the warehouses, and then ship it from there downwards. And because it's registered